Well, ladies and gentlemen, we have a new rumor coming out from good old Hollywood, and we don't really get to talk about this too often anymore with all the gaming stuff going on. But apparently, we have a rumor coming out talking about Amazon's upcoming Warhammer 40K series. Now, for you guys who are unaware, the upcoming Warhammer 40K series is going to have good old fan favorite Henry Cavill in it, and Henry Cavill is a massive fan of Warhammer 40K.
I love it, and that's the stuff I've done in. As far as hobby stuff, the stuff which my escapism is concerned.
My king.
A lot of people, when talking about fan service from an actor's point of view, love to talk about Henry Cavill because the guy is super passionate. All right, this guy was literally seen at cons enjoying different aspects of fandom. He is 100% a fan, and we know that to be a fact. A lot of people were curious over what Henry Cavill thinks about this entire situation going on with the female Adeptus Custodes in Warhammer 40K. But apparently, this rumor is talking about the fact that Amazon was the reason for the change overall. So let's get into this article, guys, from That Park Plays. But of course, before we do, if you are new here, just consider hitting that subscribe button. I would greatly appreciate it, and like the video to push us out into that YouTube algorithm. It says a new rumor claims that Games Workshop introduced female Adeptus Custodes in order to pave the way for Amazon MGM Studios' upcoming Warhammer 40K series that is being helmed by Henry Cavill. Now, the problem I have with this rumor is that this show is helmed by someone like Henry Cavill, who is a massive fan of Warhammer 40K, okay? Massive fan. I don't think or understand that he will want to ruin the story or ruin anything for Warhammer 40K. I think that if this rumor is to be true, it is to mean that Amazon themselves made the change or forced the change, thus Henry Cavill cannot use the argument, well, females are not part of the Adeptus Custodes, so you can't put them in. They wanted to remove any aspect of pushback that could possibly come from someone like Henry Cavill, who has openly fought for source material many times on the projects he has worked on. You guys already know with The Witcher, a lot of the reasons why the females over there couldn't stand working with Henry Cavill is because he would constantly argue with them over source material and all the stupid changes they wanted to make to the Geralt of Rivia story. So it says the female Custodes are to be introduced in the upcoming Codex Adeptus Custodes, which we already talked about in a previous video. So it says, now this rumor, which comes via an anonymous poster on 4chan, claims that females Custodes are only going to be mentioned in the Codex. No new sculpts or characters are after the fact. Social media department jumped the gun and tried to put out fires with the wrong hose. The alleged leaker adds, intent is to push female Custodes characters in Amazon's show without it breaking the lore, because Amazon executives wanted a woman in power armor and wouldn't settle for the Sisters of Battle. People involved in the show are pissed because they've either been moving ahead on Eisenhorn. Talks of inserting said female Custodes into Eisenhorn's story, with Cavill threatening to walk away from the project. Small stock drop today, but GW figures it can ride it out if it stays mum on the subject. They really need better social media employees. Cavill will be in the article due to heading to Games Workshop to work on the new series this week or next, the leaker added. If he leaves, it'll be a noticeable hit to the share price, meaning that the show is dead, good ending, or Amazon is calling the shots, bad ending. You can trust me, my dad works at Nintendo. So again, the fact that something like this came from an anonymous post on 4chan, I'm not really too believing of it. Ultimately, at the end of the day, we have seen rumors come out from 4chan that have indeed been proven to be true, but that's few and far between. I'm a little bit cautious on something like this, but I will say that at the grand scheme of it all, right, Amazon trying to make power plays when it comes to an IP that they know is going to be huge for them, I think that's not too shocking. I mean, look what they did with Lord of the Rings, The Rings of Power. We talk about that show quite often because it is a clusterfuck of just pure destruction of source material, and they flat out lied to you. In their initial marketing, they would tell you that the entire thing was based on the books, based on the books, based on the books. They went back to the books, back to the books, back to the books. You guys already know why I'm repeating myself, because that's what the showrunners did. They repeated themselves often and talked about how they went back to the books and the source material will be respected, and we found out it was anything but that when the show came out. And then after that, we found out it was literally impossible for them to stay true to the source source material because they didn't own most of the rights to the source material. So there's no way they can make a story based in the Second Age that was anywhere close to being lore accurate. So we knew they lied. We knew they came out and told the truth finally towards the end after the show came out. And ultimately that show ended up just completely dying. I mean, I think less than 30% of people, if I remember the number correctly, actually finished the show who watched it. Probably most people watched only the first episode, who are either hate watching it, wanted to see just how bad it was. Most people didn't finish the show because it's a garbage show. I think the same thing might happen here with Warhammer 40K if Henry Cavill cannot take the reins away from Amazon MGM Studios. You know, like Henry Cavill has to be more involved to the maximum that he possibly can be involved in order to protect the story, because if Amazon can pull an Amazon, they will. And if you let them, they will. The original poster appeared to respond to a number of other users and claim that a number of employees at Games Workshop will let go over the introduction of female Adeptus Custodes. The alleged leaker stated that nothing was inked when Cavill announced it, and it sent everyone at GW into a panic. Shareholders put an immediate stop to any work until the contract was hammered out, and the negotiations were brutal. If it could impact profits on the minis, Games Workshop didn't want to touch it, which is why this Custodes thing was a dumpster fire. People who should have known about it didn't, and success or not, people are going to be let go. The leaker also made it clear that the move was to include female Adeptus Custodes had everything to do with the show, and that Amazon did not want Sisters of Silence because they do not speak, and that the Sisters of Battle are apparently too religious, and Amazon thinks it'll be a turnoff. Furthermore, the leaker stated that the female Inquisitor in power armor was the last hope, but Amazon wants to be able to take the character out of the armor and still have them be powerful. It's all been a massive headache, and I can see that being a thing, because we know that Amazon loves their strong female characters that need no men. You know what I'm saying? Like, they love characters like that, and if they can find any way, any possible way to sneak a character like that into the story without being claimed to be destroying the lore, because they know that destroying the lore is a comeback that a lot of us have, right? We talk about the lore, we talk about the source material. Hardcore Warhammer fans absolutely love the lore, but it looks like Warhammer themselves don't even care about the lore. Like, they supposedly say that this has always been the case. They're gaslighting their fans into believing so when we know it's a lie. It's just a stupid thing. Then it says the leaker also added in some post details about a female Custodes being introduced in Amazon's alleged adaptation of Eisenhorn. It was going to happen during the scene where Eisenhorn gets debriefed by the Space Marines, a very quick reveal, maybe 1 or 2 lines, and then never mentioned again. The story is going to be told in a past tense recollection format so that they can have the scene happen at the start of the story. It was going to be a bit of progressivism smash hit to generate press. That's why it's only going to be in the codex. So when it happened, they could say it's lore accurate. It was in official publications when said press happened. And that's what they want. They want to be able to have that trump card to be able to say, hey, this is lore accurate. We're just doing what the lore says. You can't get mad at us. This is a lore change that happened recently, and we're trying to showcase diversity on screen. So you need to take it because it's lore accurate. It's not out of the realm of possibility that Amazon demanded more representation for this Warhammer 40K project. Amazon announced their inclusion in policy playbook back in June of 2021 with a press release stating that these guides offer detailed and actionable recommendations as Amazon Studios continues to seek out stories and storytelling that amplify voices across race, ethnicity, nationality, sexual orientation, age, religion, disability, including mental health. That's great. You want crazy people. Body size, gender identity, and gender expression for the global Prime Video audience. Imagine being so marginalized that you have multiple titles of marginalization. I mean, look at all of these marginalized communities. After a while, you kind of have to realize that all of these marginalized people are actually probably not that marginalized to begin with. Once you put them all together, they make a pretty huge number. So listen, man, at the end of the day, these people are going to do what they always want to do, and that's to shill for identity politics. Whether they do that in Warhammer 40K or not, that's to remain to be seen. Hopefully, we can have faith that Henry Cavill is going to be able to pull it together. I think he will. At the end of the day, I love the way he portrayed Geralt of Rivia in The Witcher, and hopefully he can pull something off in Warhammer 40K. So anyway, guys, thank you so much for watching this video. I hope you did enjoy it. If you did, consider leaving me a subscribe. I would greatly appreciate it. Don't forget to like the video, comment, let me know what you thought, and I'll see you guys on the next one. Hypnotic out.